guys, back to another video. I don't know if I'm gonna put footage over this one again. I probably will. Um, but yeah, today I just want to talk about a topic. Um, you can probably relate to this. This is gonna be a good one, okay? And this one is basically this one hits me home right at home. It's kind of similar to the last video, um, but it's gonna be more specific, and I'll tell you what I mean here in a minute. Um, but how I want to start this is I just want to say up front, like, I am not that bad looking, okay? I'm not a bad looking dude. And I actually have noticed guys who look like cavemen, okay? They're ugly, like they're not attractive, dude. Like you would see them if they could play a caveman. You know, if you dress them up right, you know, they could literally play a caveman. Okay. Um look like barracudas, and I'm not saying this to be mean. I don't want to come off as mean. I'm just being real, okay? People who have terrible looks, okay? I'm not bad looking myself. I mean, I'm not terrible looking. I know I'm not a 10 out of 10 model, but I also know I'm not like hideous. So it's like, okay. I see these dudes not just socializing with women and getting them to laugh and getting them to enjoy their presence, but also actually getting with them in, you know, dating. And yeah, that's something that I was never able to do. Even when, you know, my diet is extremely healthy, even when I'm extremely disciplined. My desktop keeps refreshing, and I don't know why. Hopefully I don't have like a virus or something. But you can probably relate to this too, man, right? It's like you get in shape, your diet is on point, maybe you're doing some fasting, so you're in ketosis, so your body starts using that energy as fuel rather than storing it as fat, and you're starting to just be naturally in shape. You know, you don't have to try super hard because you might be fasting. That's what I'm doing anyways. I'm fasting, and so it's really easy for me to not gain too much fat because I fast all day and then I have a feast later in the day. The point is you're in shape, and then you're not really a bad person. Like, you're a pretty good person. Um, I consider myself pretty funny. Like, it depends on the situation. Sometimes my humor is more dependent on the situation that I'm in. So like, I'm sitting at my computer right now. I can't just make a joke randomly when there's nothing going on, but you know, my humor is more spontaneous. If I have a joke, I try to say it, and it's spontaneous, okay? So you have a decent sense of humor. You can probably relate to this. Um, you're generally high vibe, but it's just you don't have a lot of people that you can call friends. Um, so you know you're decently attractive, you know that you're in shape, you know that you're high vibe, you know, but for some reason the women just do not want you. And let's also say this, you're doing semen retention, okay? If you're not on retention, you don't have an excuse. You got to at least try retention. So you're doing retention. And the reason I'm doing this video is just cuz I have a feeling that exposing this Exposing things, in my opinion, is the really the best thing you can do. Like if you're struggling, just admit it. Don't hide it. God already knows. So I'm just putting this out there for whoever sees this. Maybe that'll inspire you as well. I don't know. I'm not trying to. It's just maybe it will. Um, but yeah, man, I just noticed. There's a couple of well, there's really only one girl that I like now. The other one is kind of weird. She dyed her hair. I don't really like her anymore. But there's this one other chick that I like now, and I don't know if you get the same thing when you're on semen retention and you're healthy. But when you're healthy, you're eating a clean diet. You know, maybe I'm doing fasting. Um, but you have a clean diet, you have a healthy lifestyle, you're just a healthy person, exercising, and you get like the women, they'll look at you, they'll glance at you, they'll like, you know that they're attracted on some level, but it's never enough for them to want to talk to you. It's like as soon as you try to start a conversation, as soon as you try to make a connection, as soon as you try to, oh, okay, she's looking at me, I guess I'll go talk to her, and you try to go talk to her, and they pretend like they don't care about you, all of a sudden, it flips. And this is something. Now, okay, I've seen videos on reasons that this can happen, spiritual videos. I always focus on the spiritual side because psychologically, I don't think this can be explained. Psychologically, this makes no sense. They're attracted, but yet something in them is resisting talking to you. That's got to be spiritual. We got to go beyond psychology here because this is weird. Or we're at least we're not used to this and we're perceiving it as weird. We don't know what's going on. God knows what's happening here, okay? But we don't. That's why we perceive it as weird. And so basically what's happening here, to my interpretation, is these women, the in if you know, you know. If you're experiencing what I'm talking about, you know. It's where they act like they're attracted to you, but they don't. As soon as you try to look them in the eyes and then they look away because they know that if you look them in the eyes, it's going to expose them. Because when you look someone in the eyes, if you don't know this already, it exposes them. And so if you're able to look them in the eyes for like more than 3 seconds, you expose them and you're no longer going to be attracted to that person um, unless you really are meant to be with that person. Okay, because they're able to maintain this illusion that they're the attractive one and you're the one that's chasing them and all this stuff. It's all made up in their head. As soon as you look them in the eyes, it exposes their true self basically. And then you're no longer, depending on who they are, if they're a good person, maybe you'll still like them, but like if they're not really at your level of consciousness, as soon as you look them in the eyes for more than 3 seconds, it exposes them. How do I know this? This happened to me a couple days ago. I actually mentioned this in my other video, but there was a girl that I kind of liked. They were giving a presentation. I asked the question and looked them in the eyes for at least 3 seconds because I wanted to test if this would work, and it worked. And I'm no longer like attracted to that person anymore because now I looked them in the eyes, and when I did that, it revealed who they're fake, man. They're just acting. It's just all an act, and that just made me not want to be around that person anymore, and I just don't like them anymore. So, and I notice now that their attraction, well, they still kind of do the, those things that they do because biologically they can't help it. And you notice this when you're on semen retention. Women, they can't help it. It doesn't matter. It's actually funny. It doesn't really matter whether they're already with somebody or whether it just doesn't matter, dude, because it's biology. It's not psychology where they can decide whether they want to do something or not. If it's biological, they just have to do it. They can't help it. So, yeah, they continue to do that thing where they look at you, glance at you, seeing if you're looking at them and all this stuff. And they get in this trance, especially when you're on retention. They get in that trance and they start acting and doing all these things. But like I said, see, it doesn't matter though if they're looking at you because we all, this is the point of the video. If you go up to them and you talk to them, what do? They pretend like they weren't doing anything at all. They pretend as if they do not care, man. And that's what we're talking about today. That's what it is right there. Is you have all these women looking at you, but at the same time, they're all running away from you. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. And that's how you know it's spiritual because this cannot be explained by modern psychology. Give me a psychologist who can explain this. They can't. Okay. So that's kind of what I'm talking about here. It's just it sucks, man, because you have the desire because you have like in some, let's just say by some chance there's alternate realities, and you know that in an alternate reality where you're social that you're actually able to get with who you want to get with. But in this reality, you just can't for some reason. I don't, again, I don't know why. Now I have some ideas. This is the first one. I actually saw a video on this. In the Bible it says pursue, like it says something like this. It's not exact word for word, but it's basically what it's saying in the Bible. It's saying you pursue God and then everything else will be added on to you. So it's like you do what God wants you to do. You pursue him and then everything else is added on to you. So then you get you get the relationship that you're chasing. Then you get the money that you wanted. Then you get all that other stuff. But you have to pursue God first. And then God will add all that on to you, basically. So what does that mean? That means you just have to find whatever God wants you to do. And then that's my issue is I don't know what God wants me to do. And trying to I've been trying because I know I can't figure it out. And anytime you try to figure something out, like I tried to figure out how to quit PMO and I just couldn't do it. Eventually, grace lifted me out of it. So I thank God for that. But I have enough wisdom now to know that I can't figure this out. So I've just been trying to be open. Okay, what am I meant to do? And I feel like what I'm doing now is what I'm meant to do. Talking into this microphone right now, sharing my experience, giving you guys some wisdom on this. It's really just a video diary, if I'm being honest. I don't really know the answers to everything or the answers to all of these questions. Okay. But I think, the answer to possibly what the answer to this could be is if you're desiring, it could be it could be a woman. There's a woman that you like and you know that they're attracted to you, but like they won't, for some reason it won't happen. Like for some reason it's like there's this invisible force. It's crazy, man. It's like God knows. It's like you haven't done my purpose yet though, so I'm gonna prevent it. And it's like something is preventing everything from happening to you. It's like, dang, bro. Um, it's like you know that they're attracted, but then God says, no, you haven't completed my mission. You haven't completed what I want you to do. I'm not gonna let you get with this person here. I'm not gonna let you do this because you haven't done what I wanted you to do yet. And it's I think that's what it is because um again, that was in the Bible. And it just makes sense, like you should be following cuz like think about it in your life right now, are you doing what God wants you to do right now in your life? Like am I doing it? I don't think I am. I think today I've done better today. Those chest pains that I was having yesterday, they started to go away because today I feel like I was a little bit, but later in the day I started to fall off a little bit. It's just being present. It's being present in this moment. And because wherever you are in your life right now is for a reason. God wants you to go through it for a reason. So you just have to be here with it. Like if you're um in school and you don't like school, but you have to go through school because you just have to. You have to be present in school and you have to go through it. That's what you're meant to. You're meant. I mean, you're there for a reason, so you're gonna have to go through school. Um, because I used to try and disassociate. Yeah, there's moments. I mean, obviously, like when you're in school and you just start looking out the window and you're like, or maybe you're tired and you go to sleep. But if you're just constantly trying to escape and you're like resentful and bitter because, oh man, I gotta go to school and all these unconscious people, and you're like resentful, that's not really fair because you came here to experience that and you're robbing yourself. So no wonder you start feeling pains in your body and you start feeling because you're not being present with your life. You're not being present, and you gotta be present with it. Otherwise, for me, it kind of manifests as physical symptoms. I start having pains if I'm not, because you're supposed to live your life. You can't escape that, man. You're supposed to. So just be with it is what I'm learning. But I know it's like that's for some people, like for me that's difficult because it doesn't feel like it's enough. Like it feels like, okay, I understand I need to be present, but be present with what is the purpose though? What am I supposed to do? And you're still confused on that because you have all this free time and you don't know what to do with your free time. What am I supposed to do with it? And I think it's different for everyone, but I think for me it's this video that I'm recording. um so yeah, basically I think the solution, the problem with lust in gen, and this is okay, this is the reason why it's annoying when the women, they look at you but you can't get with them because you you're filled with lust. Most likely, if you're like me, you have all these lustful thoughts, these fantasies and stuff. So then when you see that they're ignoring you or just not committing to you, it kind of pisses you off because it's like you want to fulfill your fantasy with that person and you want to experience that, but you just can't for some reason. Something's blocking you. And so it makes you mad, right? It might make you mad. Makes me mad sometimes, I admit it. I get mad when somebody that I like and they clearly are showing attraction to you, but they don't make a move. They don't pursue. They don't they like at the very least have a conversation. Like, dang, they can't even do that. It's like they'll just look at you from a distance and kind of exclude you from their life, pretending like they're better or something. And it's just like, man, I'm not doing all this. You know, you're wondering why is that happening? Maybe God is just protecting you. Maybe God doesn't want this to happen because you haven't done His purpose, or maybe He's just protecting you. One of the two. Either way, you should be trying to pursue God in whatever form that takes. And remember earlier I said the reason that you're pursuing those women is because most of us we've we're on retention, right? We've quit PMO, but then we want to replace it. We want to replace it with something else. We want to replace it with a real life person, right? I think that's the ultimate like dream of every guy that's quit the habit. They want to kind of get a real life person instead. And the thing about that is you're still filled with lust, okay? And you can't just I mean, it might work out for you to where you can indulge in it in real life, but really if God is like not allowing that to happen, um the suppression of our creative desire or sexual or the I don't know, you could call it the sexual desire. Okay, the suppression of sexual desire is what creates the chaos in our lives. You have to be creative. You have to take that energy because the sexual energy is creative energy and you have to use it to be creative. You have to do create and I used to not understand because I used to think, okay, that means I have to be an artist or I have to be a musician. And I do music. I do music. I do um composing and I play an instrument. But even when I was doing those things, I still struggled with lusting and all that stuff and fantasies and stuff. So it's not necessarily about what you do, it's about what you're supposed to do. That's what it's about. Okay? What you're supposed to do versus what you think you do is very different, okay? Yeah, you can do some things on the side. Maybe you want to learn a language, maybe you want to compose, maybe you want to do some things on the side. Of course, I want to do those things, but those things, you know, although we see them as creative outlets, it doesn't necessarily mean that's what you're supposed to do. Like those are like things, okay, you can do those things on the side, but you got to do the main mission. What is the main mission? Only you can figure that out, you know, through the help of God, being open to it and allowing God to show you, God, show me what must I do? What is my purpose? Because and the reason and you can't have a motive. You can't be saying, "Oh, can I have my purpose, fulfill it so then I can get what I want." No, you got to be like, "Well, there's nothing else for me to do because everything else I do seems to fail." So I want to do the purpose. I want my current purpose because there is nothing else for me to do. Yeah, part of me does want the benefits. I'm not going to lie. There's a part of me like, okay, if I finish this purpose, then maybe I'll get what I want. There is a part of me that's like that. But at the same time, I don't really care because there's nothing else for me to do anyways. I got to do something. So might as well be the God-given purpose cuz nothing else seems to work out. That's authentic. Okay? You're acknowledging part of you wants and that's normal cuz we're human. You know, it's like when you finish your meal you want dessert, right? So, I think that's normal. I think as long as you have um, a big desire to just actually do the purpose, then I think you're good. And then you'll get, whatever it is you want after you do what God wants you to do. Or maybe it'll work out to where while you're doing it you get what you want. Or as soon as you start doing what God's supposed to do, maybe then God gives you what you want. We don't know how it's going to work out, but one thing's for sure is we need to get on to the purpose that God wants us to be on. And so, yeah, I just ask God. Um, prayer, prayer. You don't have to make you don't have to pray in a specific way. Like you literally can do it however you want. Like I might just say it out loud, with my eyes open, looking around. I don't have a specific way of doing it. If I feel like I need to close my eyes, I'll do it. It just depends. Um, but you just basically so this is the issue with women, right? Is basically they're attracted to you, but there's this invisible force, and we don't know. I don't know what this is, dude. I don't know what this is. It's like you can tell that they like you, but then like something pulls them away. It's like something is saying, you know what? No, he isn't done, he hasn't done his purpose yet. He doesn't get this right now. And you can just kind of feel like, wait a minute, hey, what the heck is going on here? Um, and it must be God or something that's like saying you're not having this. I don't know why. I'm guessing maybe because again you haven't done the purpose that you're supposed to do, and so God is making you is not letting you have it because that's just going to distract you. Once you at least start on the purpose or maybe complete it or something, maybe then you get all that other stuff that you want. But again, you have to start on that purpose first. You have to work on that first. And then you get what you want added on to you after you do what God wants you to do? So anyways, that's how I see it. Um so once you complete your purpose, then you get the person that you want, you know. Then you get the SP or whatever you call it. Um So I'm not sure if that's how it actually is. I'm not sure. I think that's how. Either way, you want to find your purpose either way because that's going to help a lot with the lust, I think, because you're going to have something that's going to channel that energy. Because I think a lot of the times we pick things that are not meant for us. We always pick the wrong thing, and you feel this resistance. Like when I try to compose, yeah, composing is cool on the side. Yeah, it's something for fun. I like to do it here and there, but I don't think it's my purpose. I don't think it's gonna be my career or anything because whenever I do it, sometimes there's resistance and it feels like I'm not meant to do it. Um, so I just yeah, again, I want something that I feel like I'm meant to do. And with this, it doesn't feel like there's much resistance at all when I do this, so that's why I'm thinking maybe this is the what God wants me to do here because there's not much resistance and it makes sense. So, I feel like that's all I've got, in a nutshell what I've said in this video. Try and figure out what don't try and figure it out. Be open. Be open to God showing you whatever your purpose is. I like to use the term current purpose because your purpose might change. You never know. But whatever your current purpose is supposed to be open to that. Ask God, what is it? Show me so I can have something. Because I don't know about you, but for me, I got like nothing to do. I know my desktop here. We'll stop the footage for a second. My desktop, I know there's a lot of stuff here. Why is it laggy? I don't know. Yeah, I need to. I don't know, man. I need to get my PC checked, scan it or something. I know it looks like I have a lot of things that I do on here, but though a lot of those things are boring. They've gotten boring, and I really don't know what to do. I'm really just bored with everything, so I don't really have an option. I kind of have to follow the God-given purpose because all of this stuff is just boring. None of this is meant for me to do long term. A lot of these are video games. They're kind of distracting me, and things that I thought I was meant to do, like composing. Again, they're cool. I appreciate them, but they're not the main purpose. You have to do your main purpose. You know, there are a lot of things that you might get confused with, and you think maybe that's my purpose, but really it isn't. Your mind just came up with that because your mind thought it sounded cool and that it would be a cool thing to do, but you're not meant to do it, right? So, that's something that I'm still struggling with, still trying to figure out. Um, but again, I feel like maybe this is the purpose currently, so we'll see. I hope you enjoyed. Let's try and figure out our God-given purpose, or not figure it out, but be open to receiving the wisdom of God and for God to show us what it is, because we're not smart enough. We're not capable of figuring this out, man. I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully this helps somebody out, and I'll see you in the next one.